This is the Conversation Project, and it is your home for headline news, information, and pop culture references that are worth chatting about. And here we're presenting for you things you might not have heard for today, being the 2nd of December, 2nd of September, 2025. Can't quite get to December yet. We still need those 3 months to get to there. Now, today we're going to feature Bill Belichick's big defeat in his debut, Linsanity going away, and the Powerball Jackpot, and of course, that guy, Donald Trump. Spoiler alert, the closing arguments for the Cardi B trial happened today, so very soon she will grace our presence with the verdict for that one as well. But till we get there, we have lots of Trump and other things to talk about. Now, let's talk about us real quick. The Conversation Project lives online at this is theconversationproject.com, a part of the More Better Media Network. A whole lot of things growing. We'll talk about those towards the end, and we want you to be a part of that. Meanwhile, we also want you to help us out in the process. Keep the lights on, if you will, by going to our website. This is theconversationproject.com. Click on links for partnerships, for sponsorships, and especially today's sponsorship, which is Ground News. You can get 40% off your Ground News packages, and we get a small commission there. Get your news better with them, just like we do every single day. So let's get into it right now. We have 10 stories, because it's Monday, to get to you for this day. Let's get this out of the way really quickly. Bill Belichick's North Carolina coaching debut ends with a blowout loss to TCU, of all places. North Carolina is under new coach Bill Belichick, and he jumped ahead of an early score. First score, taking first blood, but then TCU basically took over pretty quickly, raining down 41 points unanswered for a total of 48-14 in the defeat for the Tar Heels. And so now we get to say, who cares about North Carolina football? No one cares yet, even though Bill Belichick is there. He may be laughing to the bank with the gold digger log from his girlfriend, but right now, Tar Heels were just overwhelmed on the football field last night. TCU amassed a staggering 542 yards to 222 to UNC's, including 2 defensive touchdowns on the night. Fresh from his dynasty in the NFL, where we were wondering why he didn't get picked up as a coach, and decided he'll take things down to the college level, move on to the next level. Step into the spotlight for football and bringing a new shine where all the stars are out for the big game. Former Carolina greats, including Michael Jordan, there as well. Unfortunately, the college game may be different, or he may not have the right players, or just might not have been his game. We shall see. There was a lot to put into Coach Prime when he went to Colorado, coming from Jackson State, where he basically dominated black football, college football there, and then went to the quote-unquote big leagues. And he is contending. It's one game. We'll see what's over. It's on to the next one for Belichick. You don't have Lee Corso and the big heads that kick around anymore, but that, for all of ESPN and for all the people who loved him, was a great send-off for him. You see the picture of him with him and his colleagues all wearing the big Lee Corso heads before he put on his final head for his final prediction. GameDay hits the record ratings during this final broadcast because the coach, he's tired. He's been doing this a long time, so they wanted to give him a great send-off. 3.5 million people watched on television, peaking to 5.1 million during Lee Corso's heartfelt final headgear pick. It was a big deal. And final headgear pick was, of course, the Buckeye, who the Buckeye at number 3 did beat number 1 Texas on the Saturday game. And here's the thing about the send-off. Every team that Corso was affiliated with, he either coached or he played for, they all won over the weekend. He even picked a win for Alabama's loss this weekend. So there you go. The closing sequence wasn't just a TV event. It was a cultural send-off for a legend, which blends nostalgia with a little bit of entertainment going forward. The head picking thing is something you picked up many seasons back, and it's one of the highlights of the ESPN College Game Day show. Fox may try to do their best to emulate the show, but without Corso there, now they're just a bunch of guys who play football, picking things and talking back and forth. We'll see who's going to be the next Lee Corso in character, because no one can basically match him in wit and talent. Bye, Coach. We love you. We'll see you around doing other things, but we will miss you on Saturday mornings. We put Trump in the teaser graphic, even though he wasn't in the teaser lines, because he teases us a lot with stuff. Lots of stuff. Using his platform, Truth Social, although we still call them tweets, President Trump actually let out an issue of an executive order that's going to happen. Maybe already happened. We're not sure. He's going to mandate voter ID for every single vote, like every vote. everything. Dog catcher, you got to bring your ID. No exceptions. He also plans to curtail mail-in voting, and except for anyone who is very ill and the military who are stationed overseas, not someone stationed, in Georgia who lives in California, like really far away. Legal experts warn that the move would certainly face immediate court challenges. Those are the words I want to say, and questions the constitutionality of it. Now, we actually already did a hot take on this one, so look for it in the feed for the Conversation Project. This is Conversation out there, because it's a bad deal. It's a seriously bad deal. And in a world where things and technology and life are getting better, he wants us to go back to essentially elections in Iraq during Taliban times, where we all line up, we dip our finger in ink to show we voted, and can walk around and apparently shoot guns in the air when it's over, because that's essentially what was done about a decade ago when they finally had free elections in places like that one. Put it in a box, take all night to count them. But if you can't count them in one night, whoever's ahead wins. Trump doesn't know how tariffs work, doesn't know how elections work, doesn't know how a lot of things work. But unfortunately, he is in charge, and his inability to understand how things work. He may want all the voices in there to fight about things, but at some point in time, you just realize this is a bad idea. Let's not do the bad ideas. This is the last guy who talked to me, and he liked me. He was really nice to me. I will do what this guy said because he talked to me and it was nice to me. Kristi Noem talks to Donald Trump a lot, and it's nice to Donald Trump. So when Trump says do something and she does it, all is copacetic. Right now, Noem is confirming that what Trump is talking about, expansion of ICE to major operations in other cities, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem is saying it's going to happen. Increased ICE operations are happening for urban centers now and going to happen in the future, including places like Chicago, where concerns on crime and violence have been said. More federal resources being deployed accordingly. Now, this is separate from National Guard in a sense, but it's all the same thing. The National Guard in D.C. and the National Guard running through California, along with Marines. What's actually happened is there have been a slight shift in the crime, more or less, because the Guard members can't actually put hands on people, but really more support for rounding up illegals. That's essentially what's happening. This expansion will mark potential ramp up to interior enforcement, which is something that's frowned upon by most citizens, with a clear pivot of policy towards aggressive immigration posture in Democratic strongholds, i.e., they're sending troops to Chicago, but not to Shreveport. Think about that for a minute. Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani was hospitalized over the weekend with multiple injuries, including a fractured vertebrae, cuts, and bruises after his vehicle was rear-ended at a high speed in a New Hampshire highway. State police say the driver isn't linked to any domestic violence, just a bad case of losing control of your car situation. No real charges other than, the car stuff. Giuliani is probably in good spirits and also got a big boost from his former boss, Donald Trump, who's going to give him the Congressional Medal of Freedom, the highest honor you can get for being Rudy Giuliani. And he's getting it for just being Rudy, essentially. Taking a moment to pause from the news stories. It's Monday, so with an extra 2 days of work, we give you an extra 2 stories for our rundown, 10 stories in total. But it's something we do every single day. And actually, it's Tuesday, and I messed that one up because we missed Monday because Labor Day. So we're doing 10 stories today because an extra 3 days. All that rambling said, we do these stories because these are conversational news stories that you may have missed throughout the day, or we try to give you perspective here in the quick hits or in the hot takes that might sound a little different and give you a chance to talk. We've had a lot of discussion, a lot of hits, viral for our stance for a story we did about the lady in Chicago who says she's a beautiful black woman that Trump is talking about, and she's the reason why Trump's sending National Guard troops to Chicago. Lots of views, lots of responses, lots of conversation. We love that. More of that from you guys. We need more people seeing our stuff. We need you to like the videos you're seeing, especially this one here in the live version coming down on your YouTube or your X or your Facebook, not quite Truth Social. Share it with like-minded people so that they can see it and join as well. When you like it and you share it, more people see it. The algorithm sees more viewers, and they think that we have good content and will share it on its own. Also, if you like it and share it, I can see that I'm doing good content. I'll do more of this one going forward. If you're not seeing this natively in your feeds or any of your things you're doing, subscribe to what's here. We'll talk a little bit later about some other things that we're linked and subscribe to. We found a way to bring back the news and not make this too much longer. We'll tease that at the end of the show. Linsanity has run its course, and now Jeremy Lin is retiring, officially closing the chapter of his life and all of our basketball phenomenon world. The Knicks started off with Linsanity, announcing his retirement after 15 years in basketball with a heartfelt Instagram post calling it the hardest decision I've ever made. You may remember the Knicks putting him on the team as an undrafted player out of Harvard, who no one thought would do very much. And that season he came on when the Knicks were terrible, and he was able to not quite turn the team around, but bring some sparks to the world, was amazing. He also won a championship, this time sitting on the bench with Toronto. But as all players who played with him said, he may have been, riding the pine. He may have been a part of the secondary, but he was one of the best players and best people in the locker room. He shaped cultural and racial narratives of the NBA, had some barbs shot at him, had some racial things put at him unintentionally, or maybe intentionally based on who things wrote these things. But the chapter that is Linsanity, the big piece of that part of NBA life, of sports life, is now over. Lin is now retired and will go on to do great things. Maybe some commentary. Maybe he's got enough money banked up that he'll buy Google or something. We shall see. And we'll be watching the Linsanity off the court go forward. We covered this topic on the Minimis exceptions. We did it a while back, so I'll have to go back and see what exactly we did in the hot take for this one. But shoppers are facing orders that are being canceled because of the Minimis. Which begs the question, what is the de minimis exception? It allows duty-free imports under $800 to just come in without any extra taxes. It expired because Trump said it was going to, because he loves tariffs. It now means the low-cost packages will face the tariffs on flat fees, about $80 to $200 per package in that $800 window. And it slows significantly for deliveries. Excuse me, for all the ones that didn't want to mess up, it was this one. Basically, going through without tariffs mean you can kind of check off the box for cheaper goods. Now that it must be tariffed, you have to make sure they're paid, make sure they're taxed, make sure they're logged. And it slows down deliveries and cancels some orders for people who don't want to pay the extra money. Small business overseas shippers, such as your Temu's, are reeling from this, as many customers are canceling their orders because they'll be hit by surprise fees. Things now cost a little bit more than they thought. So the cheap goods are getting from those places for cheap aren't worth the effort. That's what we're looking for as U.S. We want to buy more stuff here, even though it costs more, and get more tariff money, even though it costs more for taxes, because that's how tariffs work. The flotilla bound for Gaza has departed Barcelona again after a storm delay. I'm not sure where the process is. We've just posted the article that was the second attempt to send it off late yesterday. Bad weather had a flotilla of aid boats, which includes climate icon Greta Thunberg, so says the robot editor, set sail again for Gaza from Barcelona, which is challenging a naval blockade. This is one of multiple attempts that Ms. Thunberg has tried to get aid to Gaza through this blockade. Unsuccessful every time. The Global Samud Flotilla is what it's called. Includes activists and humanitarian supplies. It aims to spotlight Gaza's crisis despite logistical and political hurdles. A blockade to keep the bad guys out of Gaza keeps the good guys out as well, or if you call them good guys. Many people aren't fans of Greta Thunberg, mostly because of her activism, but mostly because she kind of seems like one of those people that's a pain. Believe it or not, many people weren't that good fans of Mother Teresa either, because she seemed like one of the good guys, and she also was kind of a pain to deal with if you were not wanting to deal with that. We'll see if this flotilla actually makes it through. My money is off, not on this one, but we'll talk about the lottery in a minute, where my money obviously didn't win that one either. There is issues in Gaza. We should be feeding the children, feeding the people in Gaza. We should stop fighting. We should end the war. We should let them have some space. Diplomatically, unfortunately, we as humans can't figure it out. A man was discovered dead in a pool of blood in Black Rock City during the Burning Man Festival finale. Pershing County Sheriff's Office has opened up a homicide investigation and urged the attendees to report suspicious activity. Now, Burning Man is essentially over, and the city in the middle of the desert is starting to be dismantled and go away. So, how you do a homicide investigation in the middle of a city that doesn't exist, not quite sure. But they mark it as a homicide. Someone intentionally murdered someone in this place, and the sheriff's office wants to figure it out. It's a stark event in the backdrop of the spectacle that is Burning Man and heightened scrutiny of safety and transient festival environments. Essentially, what goes on as these things that kind of build themselves up and go away in the dark, if you will, goes forward. A murder at Burning Man is a new thing, and so it may have bigger scrutiny, more security, more eyeballs manning the festival for the future. All eyes on the Powerball jackpot as it now sits about $1.3 billion after no winner from last night. The fifth largest in history is what we'll have to go for in a few days. No one matched the winning numbers. 2 tickets netted players in Montana and North Carolina $2 million, but not the full $1.1 billion it was supposed to be. About $400 million in a cash payout before taxes. Jackpot can be claimed either as an annuity, 30 years, or one lump sum. Like I said, now will be about $589 pre-tax. The odds are pretty bad. You have a better chance of being struck by lightning than winning the Powerball. Did you rush out to get a ticket last minute yesterday once you realized the number was still out there pretty high? And I'll get one tomorrow, preparing for the next lottery because, let's be honest, it's the Payne retirement plan, and we are looking to cash on this one pretty quickly. Other than the Payne retirement plan, we also look to build on our stuff we have here for the Conversation Project. And it's pretty simple. We need your help by joining in with our sponsors, joining in with our partnerships, being a part of the crew. One way you can do this and do something for yourself and us as well is to get a subscription from Ground News using our link. This is affiliate link. This is theconversationproject.com/ground news. This is theconversationproject.com/ground news. And this affiliate link allows you to get 40% off their plans, including an Advantage plan, their super duper plan, if you will, of news. Ground News allows you to get the news in the best way possible, all of it, from any source you want to. It sources out and aggregates news from all different sources, gives you details on who the source is and why they are where they are and who they are backed by. So you can do some real research and see what you're not seeing if you don't see those sources back and forth. It may make you change your mind about your sources. It may reinforce what you think about your sources. But one thing for sure, if you use their blind spot feature, you'll see exactly what news stories are not being covered by your news sources and are covered by the others, and vice versa. The ones that the ones you don't watch are holding back, and the ones that yours are. You can get a better gauge of how news is being written, how reports are being done, and how people are actually seeing the world outside of your neighborhood by checking out Ground News and their aggregation and their great stuff. And as I said, 40% off their plans for news, which means you can get the Vantage plan for less than $10 a month, and just news in general for less than $1 a month. Visit this is theconversationproject.com/ground news for more details and big savings. So I said it was Monday. It is Tuesday, September 2nd. And I did 10 stories because this is the first time we did one. We didn't do one yesterday. It was a holiday. We just could not make it. We did get some hot takes out there and some other things, but it made a difference. Now, we used some of the holiday time to do something new and do something, I'll say, fabulous. You will start seeing links in the details to this day in history. This is going to be our new, well, we already have the email newsletter that goes out daily, but we started to find a way to put the AI to work, and we get a short video clips with smaller pieces of news and history. So you can pick that up. It takes about 2.5 minutes or so. So it's real quick, easy. We'll do 3 news headlines from what happened in the day, 3 people who were born on the day, and 3 people who have died on that day. And you can get the full details by signing up for the newsletter or set by the website. HistoryIsEveryday.com. We're going to do some change on that one so you get direct access to the actual videos because we're changing some things up. But we're going to do things and make sure you get a chance to get your history lesson in every single day. It's something we're doing hopefully for you because hopefully it's good. Hopefully these things will start paying off a little bit because their effort, their love, because history is one of the things I love, but also the time it takes to get it done. So history lessons are there. You can search for this day in history on YouTube because that's where it is. We have Monday and a Tuesday version out there right now, what happened today and yesterday, but we'll get the links out there in much better force going forward. A lot of things to do in a short period of time, especially since it's a short week and the world is, burning as it is. So with that long ramble, I still got this in under 20 minutes and I still got 10 stories in. So thank you, me. Love you. Mean it. Make sure you're following us on our feeds on Facebook and X so you can help us gauge the stories. You vote up the stories by engaging with our stories on social media as we post them. And then every weekday morning, we open them up in the spreadsheet, pull them down, see which ones got the most engagement and pulled from those, plus some newer things that may have gotten in on late ends that are worth talking about, that are conversational. That's what the Conversation Project is about. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, follow us on the feeds, watch the videos, engage in the chats with the stories, and just be good people. We'll do this again. We hope to do this again tomorrow.